The first time it happened, I assumed it was a mistake at exactly 2:17 in the morning. There was a knock on my front door. Not loud, not frantic, just 3 slow, deliberate taps. The kind you'd expect from someone who knew you were home. I checked my phone. 2:17. I remember that because I thought it was an oddly specific time to be awake. I lay there for a moment, listening, waiting to hear footsteps retreating down the porch steps. Nothing happened. After about 30 seconds, I convinced myself it was a drunk neighbor or someone at the wrong house. I rolled over and eventually fell back asleep the next night. It happened again. 2:17. 3 slow knocks. This time I sat up in bed, my heart already racing. I live alone in a small house on a quiet street. No bars nearby, no late-night foot traffic. The kind of neighborhood where even a passing car feels out of place after midnight. I grabbed my phone and turned on the camera app, pointing it toward the bedroom door like that would somehow help. I waited. The knocking didn't repeat. Eventually, I got up, crept to the front window, and peeked through the blinds. The porch was empty. No one standing there, no car idling at the curb, just the porch light humming, and moths bouncing against the glass. The third night was when I realized it wasn't random. I was awake before it happened, staring at my ceiling, waiting when my phone flipped to 2:17. My stomach tightened right on cue. The knock came. 3 taps, same rhythm, same spacing. This time I went to the door. I don't know why. Curiosity, maybe. Or the stupid belief that if I could just confront whatever it was, it would stop. I didn't open it. I just stood there inches away, my hand hovering near the lock. "Hello?" I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. No response. I leaned closer, my eye level with the peephole, and looked out. There was a man standing on my porch. He was tall, thin, and dressed like he'd stepped out of another decade. Dark slacks, a button-up shirt, no jacket despite the cold. His hair was neatly combed, his hands folded in front of him. He wasn't looking at the door. He was looking slightly to the left, toward the house next to mine, like he was waiting for someone there. I stood frozen, barely breathing. After a few seconds, he turned, stepped down from my porch, walked next door, and knocked. 3 slow taps. The neighbor's porch light didn't turn on. No one answered. The man waited exactly the same amount of time. He'd waited at my door, then moved on to the next house. I watched him walk down the street, knocking once at each home, never repeating himself, never rushing, just methodical, patient. The next morning, I asked my neighbor if he'd heard anything overnight. He frowned. "Heard what?" I described the knocking, the man, the time, the color drained from his face. "You saw him?" he asked quietly. That's when he told me. Apparently, the man had been coming through the neighborhood for years, always at 2:17, always knocking on doors, always moving on when no one answered. Everyone had learned the same rule: don't open the door. No one knew where he came from. No one had ever seen him during the day. And no one, except me, had ever admitted to seeing his face. "He knocks on the wrong door," my neighbor said. "That's what matters." I didn't understand what he meant. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch with all the lights on, watching the front door like it might explode inward. 2:17, 3 knocks. I didn't move, I didn't breathe. The knocks didn't stop. 3 more, then 3 more. Slow, calm, insistent. My phone buzzed. A text from my neighbor. "Don't answer. Whatever you do." The knocking continued for a full minute before it finally stopped. I heard footsteps on the porch. I waited, counting in my head, then rushed to the window. The man wasn't walking to the next house. He was standing at the edge of my lawn, staring straight at my front door. Even from a distance, I could tell he was smiling. The next morning, I went to the police. They listened politely, took notes, and asked the kind of questions that made it clear they didn't believe me. No reports, no security footage, no evidence. One officer finally said, "Maybe it's someone playing a prank." That night, the knocking didn't come. Neither did it the next night. A week passed, then 2. I started to relax. I told myself whatever it was had moved on, found another neighborhood, another set of doors. Then one night, I woke up to the sound of knocking. Not on my front door, on my bedroom door. 3 slow taps. I bolted upright, my heart slamming against my ribs. I live alone. No roommates, no pets. The bedroom door had been closed when I went to sleep. "Who's there?" I whispered. The handle didn't move. The knocking stopped. After a long, shaking minute, I got up and opened the door. The hallway was empty, but my front door was wide open. The next morning, I found muddy footprints, leading from the porch through the house and stopping right outside my bedroom. That's when I understood what my neighbor meant. New locks, new city, new routine. For a while, I slept fine. Then last night, I woke up and checked my phone. 2:16. I held my breath. 2:17. 3 slow knocks echoed through my apartment, not at the front door, from inside the closet. And this time, he knocked back when I screamed. I didn't open the closet. I couldn't move at all, waiting for the hinges to creak, waiting for something, anything, to prove I wasn't about to die in my own apartment. Nothing happened. After what felt like an hour, I grabbed my phone and called 911, whispering my address. No one in the closet, no signs of forced entry, no footprints, no damage to the lock. The officers exchanged looks I recognized immediately, the kind that says we've seen this before and it doesn't end well. Before they left, one of them asked me a question. That made my stomach drop. Has anyone ever knocked on your door late at night before? I didn't answer. The next morning, I went down to the leasing office and told them I was moving out immediately. I didn't care about the fees. A woman from the building next door watched me quietly. She looked tired, older than she probably was. You saw him, didn't you? She asked. I nodded. She hesitated, then said, he knocks on doors until someone answers. Once he knows what time you wake up, he doesn't need the door anymore. I asked her how she knew. She pulled up her sleeve. There were 3 faint bruises on her wrist, perfectly spaced, like fingerprints. I don't live there anymore. I don't live anywhere long. I move every few months. Never unpack fully, never sleep without a light on. And every night, no matter where I am, I wake up just before my alarm, 2:16, and I don't wait to hear the knocking anymore because I already know what time he prefers. And I know he's very patient about finding